Woo, we're
I'm
live.
so ready to talk shit on Apple. Okay, I tweeted about us. We're good to go.
All right, good. It's not happening if it's not on Twitter.
Nope, nope, nobody would know. I mean, other than YouTube, Facebook, Google Plus integrated.
Did, did,
Yep,
oh, well, I guess YouTube's integrated into Google Plus.
I had to. Oh, no choice.
Yeah, forgot about that.
But speaking about integrations,
Let's just hit the ground running.
you know what's
Um,
integrated into my phone now? Apple Music.
yeah. So we both had Apple Music. So it came out. We both been giving it a shot since it came out on Tuesday. So about 2 days. And we have some thoughts. Some.
Yeah, thoughts. That's a good word for it. Alex, what are your thoughts on it?
I am really disappointed in myself because the whole way through when Apple Music was coming up, I was like, I had this list of all of the music streaming services in my head and what each one of them has that's good and what each one of them fails to do. And all of them basically get like one little tiny thing right and then they fail at everything else. And so for Spotify, the thing that they get right is they get social integration right. Like they're integrated with Facebook. You can share with pretty much everybody. They have collaborative playlists. They let you upload your own or not upload, but they let you sync your own songs. Rdio has probably the cleanest user interface of any of these services that I've ever seen. The Rdio interface, at least from back when I was using it, was really, really good. Google Play Music lets you upload a ton of music to like a cloud service that's like a locker that then you can sync everywhere. And Tidal has lossless format. So I had this list of things that I was like, these are all these great things. And I was like, in my head, I thought Apple would be the one to put all of these things together in one service that I would then pay for. And that's not really what we got. I mean, we got a service that's just like every other streaming service. I mean, I don't know what you think, but I think it's very comparable to everything else out there in terms of it gets a few things right and then it gets a lot of stuff wrong.
In uh, Within that list, I think it got basically none of that right.
I've,
So it got social completely. It doesn't have social.
it doesn't have social at all.
Best thing you can do is text someone your playlist. Uh,
Yeah. And they can't even add to it. So it's not even, you can't like create a collaborative playlist,
you can't
which is
collaborate
something
with lists.
that I do on Spotify all the time. I've got like 15 or 16 shared collaborative playlists on Spotify.
You can't see what your friends are listening to, so there's no way to discover music through your friends. Um, Interface, it's easily the worst of
Yeah.
RDO, Spotify, maybe
Yeah.
Google. Um, and that's hard. That's hard to say because Spotify is terrible interface.
I have no good things to say about Spotify's user interface. It is
I do.
it's so bad. It's
I
so
do.
bad.
It's better than Apple Music's.
So here's the thing. Let's break down the UI because there are some things there are sections of Apple Music's app on the phone that I do really like. I do think that the now playing screen is gorgeous. Um, it's pretty simple and it works and it's like kind of what you would expect and it's the same as all of the other services. But like the translucency that they have, they made it look really nice. Um, and then I do like that when you select an artist, uh, they give you the albums for that artist instead of just a list of songs like Spotify does. I like that a lot. Um, Connect is a disaster. I don't even know why that exists, but it's fine. But so the setup. What did you think of the setup? Because I thought it was really confusing and weird. I didn't like.
There
I,
was a fantastic link that I saw um, yesterday night. I tweeted it. It was it'll be easy to find. It's an an uh, exploration of the onboarding process for Apple Music, and it goes through the steps that a new user goes through whenever they have to whenever they get Apple Music. And the tweet that I retweeted added the comment, "Did you even hire designers for this shit, Apple?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It's they don't. The entire process is just. It's. I don't feel like it's bad design. It's just they didn't. It's
So
like they didn't do it. They didn't even do
yeah.
the. I don't know. They didn't check the quality. It's
So
broken.
yeah, it's very weird because when I first opened it up, I was like, I'm gonna go and just select a band that I want to listen to, and that's what's gonna happen. But they make you like go through the bubbles, right? And the bubble that interface is not that bad, but like I selected, I think, electronic, alternative, rock, and something else. And then I selected a bunch of like I went to the artist screen, but all of the artists on that second screen, I was like, I don't know any of these.
Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah,
didn't like a single artist that
yeah.
gave me the first time. I
And
picked
so
the closest to something I liked to
yeah,
screen it.
yeah. And so like I ended up clicking the more artists thing about a half a dozen times before I was just like, what is this thing? And all I wanted to do at that point is I just wanted to try out the service, try out adding my own music to my library, which it's not really good for. It's not. I mean, it works, but there's even inconsistencies in the UI. I don't know if you've used the desktop app and tried to add an album from the desktop app.
No, I don't. I've listened to an album on the desktop app, but I have not tried to add anything.
Okay. So when you go to add it, sometimes there's like the three dot menu thing, right? That's all over the place in the app. Like there's everything is hidden behind like an overflow menu,
I see
which
like
is
7 of them. I'm looking at the screen right now.
yeah, it like everything's hidden behind these overflow menus. It's terrible. Um, and when you click on that overflow menu, sometimes you'll get a full menu that says, what do you want, like that basically has the option, add this to my library. And then sometimes all you get is share.
And most of the time, that's all I see is share. So it's become a
Yeah,
useless button to me.
yeah. So then I'm like, oh, I like this artist and I want to add their entire back catalog to my collection. There's no easy way for me to do that. I have to go to each individual album and then add it, and go back, add the next one. It's
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I did see that. I thought you were talking about the whole concept of syncing your local files, which
oh,
I didn't. I don't even know how to do that. I can't
so
see how to do that.
that's also hidden behind an overflow menu. So when you go into the app, let me look it up, and I have to go to the app to look it up because I can't remember how to do it without having the app in my hand. When you hit on the little three dot menu, um,
One of them.
like yeah, something will fly over, like the little pop up menu will come up, and then there will be a make songs available offline button
Hmm.
in that list.
That's and I mean Apple. They were really behind the long touch, and they're gonna push force touch on people with the next phone probably. And that works really well, but you can't long press anything in the app. I'm trying, and it's like that would be what I'd expect to do instead of all these dots all over the place to find things. So even
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. Um, and then, so what else do we have in the app? Okay, so there's like the for you section, which I've actually gotten a couple of playlists that I added, but most of the for you section, I'm like, I don't know who this person is, and I'll like listen to it and it seems very weird. But sometimes it'll be an artist that I do know, and it's like intro to this artist, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I already listened to that artist. Why are you giving me I don't understand. Like that, their entire catalog is in my collection. Um, have you listened to Beats One at all? Like, have you done any of the radio stuff?
Beats One is one of the few things that I think is nice about Apple Music. Um, I don't know why Beats One exists. That's not really what anyone had wanted. Nobody
No.
wanted a station. Um, but I've liked what I've listened to, so um, I do enjoy it. Um, the DJs, for some reason, all have accents. Even the ones from New York and LA have like Australian accents, um, to the point that it seems like they're trying to do that. Um, and the playlists are really strange. I don't know how they are able to mix these songs together in a playlist. They're all over the place because there's only one Beats One station,
Right.
and they're trying to appeal to a really large market. But they somehow do it, and I don't know how they make these songs flow well together. There's something about them that makes me feel like there's like a secret amount of drugs being sprinkled into the music because I don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
Um, but I do like Beats One. I don't know if I'll end up listening to it in the long run over satellite. I
Yeah.
have satellite. I'm in the mood for a certain type of music. I'm going to listen to that type of music or, a talk station.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know that they needed to focus on Beats One at all. They could have just nixed it completely and no one would have thought, this is really missing radio stations because iTunes has had radio stations for 15 years and nobody
Yeah.
uses.
It's interesting because I think that the interesting thing about Apple Music is that they are doing human curated playlists and human curated radio stations. And the reason that I think that's interesting is because I think the only service that has gotten computer generated radio correct is Pandora. I didn't like Ardio's radio. I don't like Spotify's radio. Um, and even Google Play, I had Google Play for a little while and I didn't like their radio. And I I think that the fact that they have a human-generated playlist and human-generated radio, that is kind of a differentiator for them.
I
But I don't know how much of a differentiator it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a good way to find new music, the human curated type stuff, but probably only for certain people. Um, like Rdio, they were using Song Nest before Spotify bought them, or Echo Nest, I forget the name. Um, and it was fantastic. They had great recommendations based on when you start a station. Um, and I thought it was nailing it. But I guess Spotify bought that company, and I don't know how well it works anymore. And I don't think Spotify's integrated it all the way yet either. Um, so I'd honestly rather have machine curated things that I can up vote and down vote, based on if I am liking it. There's not that option with Beats One.
Yeah.
I don't know if do the other stations offer that. I didn't.
I have no idea. So I only listened to Beats 1 for like an hour. I didn't listen to it for a lot. And I also didn't really do any, like when I had it on and just playing in the background. I didn't really set aside time to focus on the interaction of using it.
It's kind of strange. They actually do like requests like a traditional radio station where you can.
Yeah, it's like Twitter requests. Like you put a hashtag
Yes.
or whatever.
You can the one recommended that you record a voice memo and mail it to with the voice memo app, which just seems sloppy. Like if they were going to build in requests, they should have built it into the app.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do that,
Yeah.
that's something we should have done.
Do you think that fundamentally these two things should have been different apps? Because that's the kind of where I'm at. I think that the radio should have been a separate app from the music, and the music should have been just here's a shit ton of music, and add music to your library and play the music that you want to listen to. And I think those are fundamentally two different experiences. The way that I think that it's a different experience to put a CD into a CD player or to put the radio on in my car, right? Like those are two different experiences.
Yeah, it's like couch mode on Vimeo or whatever.
Right.
You want someone else to decide what you're listening to, which
Yeah.
there's a benefit to that. And I think if Apple Music's going to have any place in my day-to-day life, it's probably going to be as a Beats One app.
Yeah.
Because that, like I said, it's pretty good. It's good for me at least.
So I've only got a few more minutes, but I want to talk about the thing that I think is the major failing of Apple Music. And this is something that they could fix in a future update, but I think it's a critical failure. If you go, and this is the example that I use because it's the one that I had the problem with. If you go and search for Lindsey Sterling in Apple Music, you will see Shatter Me, which is the latest album. You won't see her self-titled album. But the self-titled album is on iTunes, so it's in the iTunes Music Store, and you could buy it. What they should do is list that album on the artist page with a price tag and a buy button. And the fact that they don't do that, and they treat it like two separate things, feels really weird to me. And it feels disjointed, and it basically took me out of the app when I was doing it, because I was like, they don't have the music that I want. And I was like, well, I'm sure it's in iTunes. Why isn't it not showing up? And then I went and searched for it on iTunes, and it was there. And I'm like, why do I have to search two different things to get the music? And I think that is really weird, and I think that's a critical failure, especially because I think the critical selling point for Apple Music is that it's installed on your iPhone by default. You can stream all their music, and you can buy any music that's not available to stream. Like that's in their marketing material.
Yeah, they're not afraid to send you between apps for just about no reason.
Yeah.
Which is really infuriating. It makes it feel buggy. I think, it's just broken in a lot of ways like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just wish it was more of a simplified experience. Like,
yeah,
here are songs.
Yeah, seriously. I've had this conversation with a couple of friends, and I've had it with you before. What I really want is, like I said, each of these services has something good that they want, and I want somebody to just come along and take the good pieces of each service and just put them into one service. You could charge me double for that. If you did that and charged me $20 a month, I'd give you $20 a month for it. I don't understand how this is so hard.
It's especially infuriating to me because Apple Music's built right into my OS. Like,
Yeah.
There's such a strong potential there to make my life easy, and because it's broken, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's just really disappointing. Like, I'm full on the Apple train. I've got the watch and the iPhone and iPad, and I'm talking to you on my MacBook, using a Google service. But I mean,
well, when FaceTime lets us broadcast to YouTube.
Yeah, but it could have been so much easier. I'm going to Chicago next week, so I have Kanye West stuck in my head. And like, just an example of the brokenness of like something that could be so amazing is like, I can hold up my watch and say, "Hey Siri, play this Kanye West song with Chris Martin," and it will use Siri without any buttons, play that song on my phone, but it plays like this live 1 minute version of the song in Apple Music. And I go into the app and I look at it, and it's in the right album, but for some reason it's not the right song. It's not the 3 minute full version. It's the 1 minute live version. So it's like, it's just broken. That's not the song that's on the album. I don't know how do you mess that kind of thing up? Why is this kind of stuff happening in an Apple product? Like, I've messed up software before, but I'm one guy. I'm not, Apple. I don't have thousands of engineers at my side.
I think it's incredibly frustrating for me because we work in software all day long, and so we know, like, we see it and we're like, this is such a simple problem to solve, and it's not necessarily a simple problem, but like, I think that they overcomplicated version 1 of this thing, and they didn't need to. Like, all they needed to do was say, here's some music, here's a collection, add the music to your collection, and stream it. That's it. That's all they had to do, and they could have been perfect.
And
the all this other extra stuff.
And the most frustrating thing is it will be so slow for any of it to change
Yeah.
because that's how it's always been in the past. You know, they had a shitty podcast app and it was shitty for 2 years before it got to be
Yeah.
usable.
Well, I mean,
So
iTunes has been bad for a while. I even
it's
the redesign.
yeah.
iTunes was terrible, and the redesign is better, but not by much.
I wanted to tweet that there was a fatal flaw in Apple Music that I have to use iTunes to listen to it on my desktop. iTunes is just such a piece of work.
Yeah.
Luckily, it doesn't seem these days to be as much of a resource hog, and
No, it's not. It's very. It is leaner. I will
it
give you
doesn't
that. It's
pop up,
leaner. Yeah.
you know, three windows, one for an agreement, one to sync my phone, one to play the music whenever I open it. So it's gotten some things under control, but yeah, it seems like the whole design team on that side of things is just
Yeah.
fucking up.
Yeah. It does have potential. Like they could fix the things that are wrong. They could. Um, I mean, you're using the parental restrictions thing to remove Connect from the app, right? Are you doing
Yes.
that? Yeah, I'm doing
Mhm.
that too. Um, and that is awesome because then at least I get my playlist. But well, I mean, at least I get a shortcut to the playlist on the bottom bar. Um, I want to end it on a like I want to try and end it on somewhat of a positive outlook, I guess. But I think it's just disappointing. It's not a terrible streaming app. It's pretty. I think it's pretty on par from what the other offerings are. I just think that I expected it to be better, um, and it's
And
not. And to that end, like, is it worth me giving them my $10 a month, or should I just stick with Spotify? All right.
um, unlike you, I'm not afraid to end on a negative note because, I mean, I just I don't think I'll be using it. Probably not even until the end of the free trial. The music that it plays sounds good, high quality, has a good selection, but the people that it has that RDO and Spotify don't have are, you know, like big name music like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, and they have Dr. Dre
This.
exclusively, which is nice, but you know that's big name artist. That's not really what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. So I'm not worried about missing out on that.
The real thing that is interesting to me is that Apple didn't try to make a play for Bandcamp's game.
They should
They
have.
easily could have done that. They easily could have done that, and they didn't. And you
They
know,
they
but
should
they've
have.
got they've got music execs on the board now. That's what they're, you know.
Yeah, they got Trent Reznor and Dr. Dre leading this thing, and they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should have just bought Ardio. That's what I think.
Yeah. Instead of Beats. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Um, that was a rant.
It was pretty short.
I think that's all we got
Yeah.
in there was ranting. So
There was ranting. There was ranting. We'll have to do another one of these on something else. I will say, so now the only thing that has to happen is Microsoft has to revamp the Xbox Music Service as something else, make it actually good. Because you know I'm on the Microsoft hype train.
mhm.
I mean I've got an iPhone, I've got a MacBook Air. I'm probably gonna buy the new MacBook when the next version comes out. But I'm on the Microsoft hype train right now. If they release they have the opportunity now to release the perfect music app, and if they do it, anybody at Microsoft, if you're listening,
All aboard the Microsoft hype train.
yeah,
I'm in. I'll join you because I'll be able to use Connect and Cortana to play my music on my Microsoft Watch, and it'll
yeah,
all just work.
yeah,
Remember when Apple was it just works?
yeah. I think that the Microsoft thing is a whole other video because I've got a lot of thoughts on Microsoft. I've been trying to put them down on paper, and I think it's a whole other thing. We'll get into another time maybe.
It's funny. We need to do a positive one to balance out this Apple
Yeah,
Music one,
yeah, we do. Yeah,
and it's going to be about Microsoft,
and
isn't
it's
it?
going to be a Microsoft one. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, nice talking to you, Alex.
Yep. Do we want to do Twitter handles and stuff?
Yeah, Alex, where can people follow you?
They can follow me at Alex Shinoy on Twitter, and alexshinoy.com is my blog.
And I am at Justin X Reese, and you can follow up on with me, or you can check out Code and Supply's events at Code and Supply. Thank you all for listening and or watching. Bye.
Bye.